Hey, good afternoon, class. Just wanted to let you know, first of all, that the discussion board number 2 is graded, and so it's right there in the grade book if you want to take a look at it. Did want to make a few comments in general about the discussion board. First one being, make sure that in the footnotes that you actually italicize all titles. So every time that you use a title in a footnote, it needs to be italicized. That seems to be a common theme where you guys are just failing to italicize the title. So just make sure you do that, and make sure that you take a look at the proper form for footnoting, especially the textbook, but also other sources that you might use. The other thing that I'd like to comment on is that some of you are replying to the same question, but perhaps by two different students. I want to encourage you to reply to two different students, but also to reply to two different questions. That will avoid any commonality or overlap between the two replies, and that's certainly part of the directions if you look way back in the course content for the replies. So again, just let me emphasize, when you make your replies, reply to two different questions, and preferably by two different students. Okay, great. I did want to say, listen, I looked at your quiz grades, and for a class, you guys did outstanding. I don't know that I've had a class where there were that many A's on the first quiz. So, guys, great job. I know some of you didn't do as good as you would have liked to, but perhaps now, because you know the format for the quiz, you might be able to study a little bit better, and you can make up a lot of ground on the next quiz. So just keep studying hard and working at it. You guys are really doing a great job. You're on your way. I do want to encourage you to do some research for your paper. I know that it seems early in this course, but I can guarantee you that paper will be upon us quicker than you could ever believe. So go ahead and start getting your initial research out of the way, and make sure that when you're doing your research, when you choose the part 2 or the special topic that you want to focus on, the person, the era or movement, or whatever the case, that one that you want to focus on, make sure that you get a couple of sources that are specific to that particular movement or person. That will really help provide depth to your research. And also make sure you get at least 5, but I would say 7 to 8 to 9 sources. You don't want to rely too heavily upon the textbook. That's a mistake that many of the students make, that they simply just quote from the textbook without really using that many other sources, and that's just not good research. We're looking for you to really flesh out through other sources what he just kind of gives a summary and an overview in the textbook in terms of the intertestamental period. So make sure you keep that in mind. And again, if there's any questions, just shoot me an email. I'll be more than happy to answer them. Now, this week's discussion board is I guess in some ways simple, because it's only 3 questions and you have to obviously pick 2 of them. But they're pretty straightforward. I mean, it's going to be primarily about the synoptic problem and the synoptic gospels. So make sure with that first one that you define the synoptic problem adequately, not just noting the differences, but note the similarities in the synoptic gospels as well. Make sure you just you answer each part of that question. Also, then the second one's pretty clear. It's just define the following terms. In other words, the various solutions that have been proposed for the synoptic problem. They're all listed right there. Make sure that you define them so that I know that you know what they are. So define them thoroughly, and at the same time make sure that you answer which one you think solves the problem the best and why. Just, it's pretty simple. And then the last question has to do with what is form criticism, what is source criticism, and what is redaction criticism. You'll have to do a little digging for this post, because the answer to that question is found in a couple different places, but it's all there. You can find it, but make sure that you answer that well, because you need to know the differences between form, source, and redaction criticism, and so make sure you explain those pretty thoroughly. And then it says, what is best for, what is most useful for addressing the synoptic problem, and a couple other ones. Make sure you answer those as well. Some of the problems that we're having with you guys is you're not answering each part of the question, so make sure you do that, and you guys will do an awesome job. Well, I hope that you guys have a great week, and again, I'm always available, so if you have any questions, just let me know. You guys just keep on trucking. You guys are doing a great job. Make sure you continue to proofread your replies as well as your posts, and you guys look forward to what you guys do this particular week. All right, blessings.